Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I wanted to start another discussion, another good versus bad. I did one of these for Warhammer 1 just before Warhammer 2 came out, and as I mentioned when I made that video, I said I was going to wait a couple of weeks once Warhammer 2 had come out and then do another good versus bad QT discussion, get your guys' input, your discussions, your comments, your insight to see, you know, after a couple of weeks of playing Warhammer 2, what's good, what's bad, what's room for improvement, and then from that take those two QT discussions and do a final comparative video to see from the community consensus and discussion and insight what's been good across Warhammer 1 and 2, what's been bad across Warhammer 1 and 2, what was good in Warhammer 1 that is now bad in Warhammer 2, what was perhaps bad in Warhammer 1 that is now good in Warhammer 2, what's been improved, what still hasn't been improved, and kind of look at where, you know, the series can continue to improve in obviously the third game, and obviously beyond that as well, if there's other features and stuff that have shown up in Warhammer 1 and 2 that we think could apply to historical titles, or what features shouldn't be applied to historical titles, and kind of just summarize the discussions and critiques that you guys have been giving. Now, I am going to give you guys a bit of an incentive, again, as I did for that first Warhammer 1 QT discussion. I gave away 5 copies. Actually, I ended up giving away 8 copies of Warhammer 2. For this QT, the good versus the bad, Total War Warhammer 2, I'll be selecting 5 of the most insightful discussions and comments, so that can include a reply to someone else's comment. So, you know, if you could give a really good counterpoint, which I did select some of those on the previous QT, then you can be, you know, in for a chance to win as well. But yes, basically this time I'll be selecting 5 discussions, comments, and they'll be able to pick, the winners of those will be able to pick a game of their choosing from Games Planet, which is the authorized key seller that I'm partnered with and I'm affiliated with, and they pretty much have every single game possible via their catalog for Steam, Uplay, Origin, etc. So pretty much any game you currently want, you can get through there. So if you don't have Warhammer 2, but you've got some good insight and you wanted to leave it, you could always claim Warhammer 2. But obviously if you've already got it, because, you know, that's how you're leaving your insight, then you know, you can choose another totally unrelated game if you want to. So yeah, you don't need to own Warhammer 2. I will accept, you know, comments from those that don't have the game, that have been just analysing what they've seen. It would be great, though, if you could make it clear in the sort of the top of your post whether you own the game or whether you don't own the game, as that'll give me a better insight into your thought process, and also be interesting to see what people pick up from just observing the game through perhaps Let's Plays that haven't played it themselves, but maybe they'll have a different take on, though, you know, as an observer, as a hindsight sort of analyst as such, compared to someone getting stuck in and playing. And I'd love to see if there's any kind of interesting talking points created from that. So yeah, do let me know in the comments that you post whether you own the game or whether you don't. You feel free to include number of hours you've played for. I have also included a poll on the QT. You just need to drag the ring slider around to make your vote, and that's basically, it's just to gather which legendary lord have you been playing the most as so far in Total War Warhammer 2. So yeah, just pull that ring round to the legendary lord that corresponds to the correct colour. You can see it via the key on the right hand side of that poll, just underneath it, and yeah, get voting on that. So yes, I'm gonna have this running until the 24th of October, so I'm giving you guys a week. I did, with the first discussion for Warhammer 1, good versus bad, it actually go back after that sort of deadline, and I actually chose a few more really insightful discussions and comments and awarded more prizes, basically. So even if you find this video after the 24th, feel free to post, because I'm constantly going through these. I'm still going through the Warhammer 1 post as well, to new comments there and new insights and discussions. And, you know, if I think you've really made a really fantastic contribution, then I'll be reaching out to you via PM on QT. That's how I will contact the winners. And I'll use your QT username, PM you via QT, and then obviously set you up with a game of your choosing from Games Planet. But yeah, there's 5 up for grabs to start with till October 24th. But yeah, do keep that insight coming, do keep the discussions going, and feel free to share it with your friends, with any community groups that you have that are interested in Total War and Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2. I'm really hoping that we can create a really good community discussion, and then, as I said, at the end of it, Probably I'll give it until the first week of November, and then I'll put together a full comparison video between the community insight for the good versus bad on Warhammer 1 that we've already had running for a bit now, and this new QT, the good versus the bad for Warhammer 2. And then I'll pick out some comments. I'll have them up on my screen in the video. It'll probably be quite a long video, and I'll try and pick out things from various sections, you know, single player, multiplayer, talking about DLC and free LC. Obviously we don't have a huge amount of information about that for Warhammer 2, but you know, we can start talking about that and the direction it should perhaps take or what it should improve on, campaign features, balance, magic, lords and units. And also, when you do make your comment on the QT, do remember to tag your post under one of those headings. Obviously, if you're doing a full kind of overview and analysis of Warhammer 2, then just choose one of them that you think perhaps best sort of summarizes the focal point of your discussion. But it's fine if not, if you just need to choose one. But it will give me a better way of filtering through comments and looking for single player focused analysis or multiplayer one or magic focused discussions and things like that. I think that's pretty much all I need to say. So yeah, do go over to the QT. You will obviously need to sign up, but you can connect your Google account. You can sign up the old fashioned way by putting in email address and password. But yeah, as I said, that's what's going on at the moment. That's the discussion I'd like to focus on, so feel free to share it about. And obviously, we'll be selecting 5 of the most insightful discussions, comments, or replies posted on that QT discussion, the good versus bad for Total War Warhammer 2, on October 24th, and they'll be able to win a game of their choosing from Games Planet. I'll be PMing those winners directly on QT. So, yeah. Take part in the discussion, and I look forward to reading some of your comments. Till the next one, though, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Take pride and join the Legion. Check out my affiliates and sponsors, Games Planet, Overclockers UK, QT, and MSI. Till the next one, ciao for now.